Here we see Eleanor Roosevelt. This is the woman who's going to be FDR's best friend, partner, lover, also First Lady, and is going to serve with him, alongside him, and be his ears and his eyes. Because, obviously, as a result of polio, he's never going to be able to walk unaided for the rest of his life. This woman has a great spirit and a great character about her. She had, unfortunately, a very sad and rather depressing childhood with the loss of her mother at the age of 9. She was born October 11th, 1884. And then you have her father, who really slips into alcoholism and can no longer really be that loving, caring father and parent for her. And so from there on, for the rest of her life, she has difficulty trusting unconditional love, as well as the men in her life, the men that she would love. She's going to go on at the age of 15 to boarding school and stay in England until she's 18. And then eventually come back home to meet her cousin, who was not her first cousin, of course, and marry him. She was 20, she was 18 and he was 20 at the time. She's going to go on, after his death, to write several books, write a syndicated column, write and respond to several hundred, if not dozens of letters every single day. She's also going to be a speaker, orator, somebody who loves rhetoric, who's going to speak up and support civil rights, civil liberties, freedom, education. Also, she's going to support African Americans, especially those black men who want to be in the Air Force. And she supports the Tuskegee Airmen. Also going to teach a lot about tolerance and acceptance, and also about encouragement of others. She is going to be asked by Truman, President Harry Truman, to be a delegate for the United Nations, which is something that's very difficult for her to take on, because she's grieving, she's mourning the loss of her husband, a friend and a partner and a lover for so many years. But also, she knows that she has a duty to country and nation, as well as to the rest of the world. And so she reluctantly agrees. She's going to outlive FDR by nearly 17 years. As I said, she was 2 years younger than him, but she's going to live until the age of 78. He will die at the age of 63. And here we have this image of her trying to get a taxi around 1920s or 1930s, but also to really show her image of being free and independent, very much a thought-provoking person who asks many inquisitive, curious questions, but also lives a life of hope, optimism, and inspiration, and also really continued to strengthen and reinforce and enhance her her husband's legacy. A man who cared about people, who was very relatable to people, and also cared about the things over here to my left, what was referred to in his fourth freedom speech. The things that mattered to him were freedom of worship, freedom of speech, freedom from fear, and freedom from want. You'll see the images painted in that fountain representing those things that mattered to him, where he cared about and loved people, and that he wanted to be that person that people could count on, that person who, in its many speeches, would say, "Dear friend," because he loved them and respected them. Also, you'll notice on many of the quotations on the walls, which is really calling us to be active participants in our community, our own nation, and our own world, but to also realize that we have a duty to ourselves as well as to our family and our friends. And also on these steps behind me here, which you can look at if you'd like to, it commemorates his birth, which was January 30th, 1882, to his death on April 12th, 1945, as well as many of the events of his life and like a timeline, as well as accomplishments, which you can see if you look closely at the small type print, and be able to feel like you're close, intimately related and intertwined with a man who is really once again calling out to us through the walls to action, to leadership, to decision making and choices, but also to remember not only the man, but to remember our country, what it's well known for as a good and great country: freedom, equality, liberty, justice, and democracy as a democratic republic, and that we can survive, we can ensure that we work together as friends, as neighbors, as brothers, as sisters, and focus in and on community and those tightly knit bonds that community is able to provide, and really make for the betterment of our community, our nation, and our world. I thank you for being here today. If I may answer any questions for you, let me know. I'll be here all day.